There's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP Morning Show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP. Hey, Gumpers.
Well, Bondi, how you doing? Oh my goodness, where's my background gone? That's a bit weird, isn't it? Let's see what we can do about that. I'm actually not sure what I can do about that. Mrs. M been in the studio early. Was I tinkering about? Let's try that. Let's see if that works any better. Oh, there we go. That's the backdrop I should have. Munson here from expatsportugal.com with the Good Morning Portugal show, live stream and podcast. Now, sorry, there could be a few reasons why I'm a little bit late this morning. Could there not? One being, I bet some of you thought, has he put his clocks forward? And is he going to be an hour late? Is that how it would work? I can't get with my dyscalculic ways, I can't get my head around that. But I'm looking at a video I've uploaded as well. I'm hoping that's the right one. Anyway, we will see. We'll see. This is what's been going on in the last few days. Did you have a nice weekend? If you did and you've got pictures to prove it, please send them in 913-590-303. Migration Monday, 9 o'clock. Gilda will be here. The show today, cool moves and hot property. We'll be finding out more about Casa Portuguesa from Gilda because it's getting increasingly difficult to find a place to live in Portugal. Now, theories as to why I might have been late today. Yes, I did put the clocks forward. I sprang forward, you'll be pleased to know. Anyone else feeling that? Because it doesn't really feel like springing forward, does it? It feels like we've had an hour robbed from our sleep. It does to me anyway. And another theory was, could this possibly be true, that Chris Rock was on the phone to me, finding out what happens if you get slapped mid-performance and what to do about it. It was a fairly good recovery, Chris. I wasn't expecting that. Taking a smack from Will Smith is no easy thing. But really, what was that about, folks? So were you at the Oscars? Can you? No, we didn't get anything, did we, this weekend? Did anyone else in the community get honoured at the Oscars last night? Carl of the Munson, thank you very much. Vitor of the Costa this morning, our man in the north. Let's see who is here this morning and how well you've coped with with the clocks going forward. That is right, isn't it? Now, okay, today in Portuguese history as well gives us a chance to play the fabulous Portuguese national anthem in a doo-wop style. But let's just see who's here, see what people are saying this morning. Oh, look at this. Somebody, is that the CEO of Delta Coffees? I don't think it is, but it could be, couldn't it? Oh, it is. Weird. Bom dia, bebedores de café e seguidores dedicados do socialismo. A coffee and socialism link. That's got to be the prof, hasn't it? I see the time change has seen off the early risers. Yes, and prof getting the bragging rights at 7:30 this morning, an hour before the show started. Today in Portuguese history. Boom boom. Ba 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 ba. Yeah. Okay. So today in Portuguese history, let's go back to that. I think I might have been shouting a bit too much at the weekend, as you might be able to hear there. Today in Portuguese history, 1931, Rui Nabeiro was born, Delta Coffee and socialist mayor. So he wasn't just, it isn't any old politician who's been snapped holding a cup of Delta coffee. And if you're in Portugal, you'll know that logo. If you're coming to Portugal, watch out for it. Delta Coffee. At 17, after his father's death, he took over the small family roasting company, setting up Delta Cafés in 1961. Now, I'm interested to know the extent of this because he's a coffee producer, isn't he, and roaster, as we can see there. But I think Do they have their own chain as well? Was that the place I went to in Lisboa? I mean, let's find out more about the empire. Maybe I'll come back to you tomorrow with the extent of the Delta Coffee empire, because it's considerable. And I wonder if the company is run on socialistic principles. Prof might have something to say about that. Capricorn Chris is here. Hola, bon dia todos. How you doing, Chris? Did you have a nice weekend? Were you in Did you just pop to Portugal for a few hours? After a few months, they were distributing throughout the country. This is the continuation of the Delta Coffee story. So after a few months, they were distributing throughout the country, opening a commercial warehouse in Lisbon in 1963 and another in Porto in 1964. Pretty good progress there. A rapid expansion, 2018. Look at this. Yes, that worked then. The revenues of Delta were 85 million euros. Navarro would be elected 4 times as mayor of Campo Maior, twice as the Socialist Party candidate after 1974. What is the cut of his socialist jib, though, Prof? Is he neolib or is he old school? Faija do dia, Chic's Soup for One. That's so bizarre that you should say that, because I was listening to that track Lady, is it? By, thank you, Bass Jet or somebody like that from the 90s that you'll have danced to in the 90s. And they sampled Soup for One with the very obvious Nile Rodgers guitar on it. Thank you for the coffee, Mrs. M. Oh, thank you so much. She's trying to kiss me, everybody. And I hope you had a great Mother's Day if you were celebrating that yesterday as well. So today, more than half of a century after the founding of Delta Cafes, or Delta Cafés, the business group employs around 3,500 employees. And in 2006, he was awarded Commander of the Order of Infant Dom Henrique. I wonder what that entitles you to. Freedom of the city, possibly, right? Or the whole country, or the whole Commonwealth of Portugal. Oh, wow, you guys are up early. This is what we do. This is what we do, Vitor. Oh, although you were in there before 8 o'clock, weren't you? Behold, I am keeper of the likes. Like us, Maximus. Hit that like button and support the show. Thanks, Chris, for doing that. Baldylocks is in as well. And good morning, watching, just landed, just looking, set webinar while I wait. Kudos. Well, it's funny. I want to play a segment from that in just a moment. Because it has been it's rather frenetic behind the scenes here this morning. And I truly enthralled by, is that the right word? Shocked by the Oscar. But how did I see it? I think, Doreen, yes, our friend Doreen on Facebook, friend Doreen, saying how the transmission went out in Portugal with all the swearing and the violence. Yes, in case you what? If you weren't aware of it, you'll be thinking, what? Swearing and violence? What did I miss? But we'll come back to that. But it's actually quite shocked me seeing that. But maybe it was all staged after all. You know what that lot are like. So good morning, watching, just landed, just looking webinar while I wait. And we have a segment from that, Suze. And also, Suze, I'm going to go with your suggestion or your request to look at camping in Portugal tomorrow. Okay, so looking forward to that. Anybody with any experience of camping in Portugal, and we know if I've got a fly on me, a few bits of hair that I've got left on my head, how unbecoming of a gentleman of my stature. Hip in the community, I mean, not scale, not like Will Smith stature. Bom dia, campus. Feliz segunda a todos e parabéns e bem-vindo at Suze James. Now, James is the subject of the clip I want to play. He'll be blushing in a few minutes' time. And he needn't, because what you said was amazing, James, and that's why I segmented it, and that's why we're playing it this morning. Dimitri Martin, quote of the day, yeah, where's T-Duck? What happened to T-Duck? Oh, T-Duck has slept in, right? Who else? Who else is going to turn up in the next hour at 9:30? Dimitri Martin, quote of the day, I need to develop some patience. Immediately! Oh, I can feel that one. Thank you very much, James. So I can only be here with you all for a few minutes today. Got to slide my way over to Lisboa with a housemate for the day. Okay, well, if that's what you're doing, hold on a minute. What's this? But I am having a special celebrity friend sliding in for me here this week, starting tomorrow. Ooh, I don't know anything about that. He is a musician with many classic pop, funk, and soul hits from the early 70s. I think you'll enjoy him and make him feel welcome. Obrigadinho. Wow, what's going on? And from the prof, Hippie Slug, saying to you, James, just watched the Just Landed to, really enjoyed your input, and Lucifer attitude, well done. Well, let's hear it now in that case. And just to say that Chris, let's just a few more name checks. Chris, morning all, watching live from Lisbon this morning. Yay! Normally has to watch secretly to avoid ridicule of family members, but I think proudly watching the Good Morning Portugal show. Hola, bom dia, bem-vindo to you, Chris. Hope you're having a great time now that you've joined us here in Portugal in Lisbon this morning. And Chris, a bluegrass player. I didn't manage to locate the best bit to play yet, Chris, but we'll do that tomorrow. I think you're here for a few days, aren't we? Oh, aren't you? Anna Olsen here. Nice picture this morning. Thank you very much, Anna. We'll show that as well. Your fishing outing this weekend. And Morning Gumpers actually watching on TV this morning at a normal time for us. Ah, yes, the clock change is suiting some people. Morning, Magnus. Bon dia, Gumpers, back in Nazaré this morning after a week of traveling. Looking forward to us settling in for a bit. How was it, Buddy? Tell us about your experience wandering about Portugal. Okay, let's play that clip of James while I have a little sip of coffee and settle into the seat this morning. Gilda with us from 9 o'clock this morning. Not just talking about migration matters on a Monday, but also the increasingly challenging proposition of finding somewhere to live here in Portugal, which is also actually the subject of the week on our Premium Plus plan for helping people accelerate their plans to move to Portugal. We'll be looking at that specifically this week and giving you all my best insider information. There's too detailed to go in here, but very happy to do that with you if you're a member of the Premium Plus program plan, or if you become one in the next 24 hours. Do that at expatsportugal.com on the front page. Just scroll down a little bit and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Check this out, everybody. Oh, I didn't ask James, did I? Reason for that, I think, Mr. Rogers, is that I didn't think you would have anything challenging or negative to add. James, do you?
In terms of the challenges, it goes back to what I said originally. If you come here expecting this country to be America, you're going to be very, very frustrated and very angry and cursing a lot. But if you come here saying, I'm here for a new experience and I'm here to learn how to do things the way they're done here, and I'm going to learn from this culture that is this country, which includes this challenging language. And I'm going to respect the fact that I'm in somebody else's home, basically. I'm visiting and I'm learning how to become a family member. If I come with that attitude, I don't have anything to get mad about. And so for me, if so much of it is your attitude coming in, if you come with that mindset, I think you'll, like a few people have said already, you'll find yourself sort of laughing, but not laughing at, laughing with the circumstances that are in front of you, like enjoying the fact that, oh yeah, this is not the US. But if you come here expecting it to be everything that you're familiar with in America, it's going to be very challenging.
Well said. Thank you so much. What the American guy just said. Fantastic, James. You're getting a lot of love and thumbs up for that. That's wisdom, James. Thank you from Matt. That's awesome, James. From Lynn, we couldn't agree more. James, absolutely, from Viv. Fantastic. Such a great attitude. I think that would be great to park that up as your final contribution, James, unless you have anything more to add there. Thumbs up.
Oh, and another thing. No, just kidding. I'm good. No, I'm good.
James, that is super. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Let's go. I think Jim, Mr. and Mrs. McDonald have, I think, are fast asleep now, and quite rightly so. They are exhausted after just a few days in Tavira. So thank you to them. Should they be watching the replay? Martin, thank you. Do you have a final word to share with us?
Well, basically exactly what James is saying. It's do not come here expecting it to be something that you're used to in your home country. This is Portugal.
Yeah.
Portugal here for a long, long time, and they make whatever it is work. And if it isn't as fast as you used to, then live with it or don't come. That's it.
Well said. Well said. Thank you very much indeed, and all the best to you, Martin, there in the south, and to Jojo. Yeah, all the best to you in your new home and new life in Portugal, and equally to you, Ericeira, James, Banana Slug Man. Catch him on the Good Morning Portugal show most mornings. Desiree, what say you as a final contribution to this? You're not just landed, but you were recently landed and had a fantastic time here by the sound of it. What would be your concluding comment?
I did indeed. I mean, it's so different. You almost can't even really explain how different it is. And right. I keep saying that to people when they ask me, like, well, it's so different. And I mean, it's just, I think people seem in general more more relaxed, really. And there's more sort of this sense of we're here to help each other. You know, there's this attitude that's really different than I find in the US in general. And it's just, I feel like there's even a little bit more freedom in a certain way, like in the way people can do things, you know, do things themselves in a way, how they do their houses, how they do their yards, how they, you know, it's not controlled and regimented, really. It's much more creative, I think, and open. It feels that way to me. And it's just awesome. I mean, I really did have a wonderful time. So.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. Thank you for being here tonight, and all the best with your unfolding adventure in being here. I guess you're looking forward to being just landed. And the Exton household in the UK, what would you say to your fellow Brits who are fleeing Brexit Island at the moment? I'm guessing you're very keen to be here. What are your final thoughts this evening?
Well, I would add that whilst we did have a couple of people who didn't want to help us when we were looking for accommodation, we also had, we were put in touch with someone who tried to help us, and then she put us in touch with someone else who tried to help us. And people were just really willing to go out of their way. And we even had a lady who took us round her house to show us a house. Just, she wasn't going to make any money out of it. She was just trying to help us. And they were all so lovely. They just go out of their way to do, you know, for no reason. Just felt like it. Had a little bit of a chat. It was just lovely.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah. So there are lots of people that, and you would not get that in the United Kingdom. The people would not be, they would not do that. They're far too busy, you know. So exactly what James said, but he says it so much better.
Oh, thank you, Sarah.
Oh, no, you did a good job.
And, you know, in these crazy times, isn't it lovely to have this lovely feel-good feeling as we've warmed ourselves around the Portuguese heart and soul this evening, and all these lovely experiences that people have had. Thank you so much, each and every one of you. All the best in your adventures and your new lives here. We'll leave it there. And the great news, of course, is that Portugal seem to be up at half-time and roasting turkey. So I hope that continues as well in the second half. And I thank you all for being here this evening. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Well, there you go. The full-length version of that is available on our YouTube channel. Just over an hour, actually, of people with their first impressions and final thoughts. Those who are here and have been here for a few days or a few months, and those who popped over just to have a quick look with recollections of their visit. And the Extons that you saw there from the UK did their tour in about 4 days, and Desiree did nearly 4 weeks of being here. I have a video of their schedules as well, which is quite helpful, isn't it? Scouting schedules. If you're wondering where on earth to start, that too is available on the Premium Plus plan. Look at this, Lucifer. It's a thing. It's definitely a thing, isn't it? Okay, Midlife Crisis World Tour, Prof. Eusebio. I couldn't find Lucifer in my Merriam-Webster dictionary or Wikipedia. You yanking my chain. I do like that phrase. I try and use it at home whenever possible. And Lucifer, we do say that here, don't we, on the show, certainly. And I'm pretty sure we didn't invent it, but we do use it very regularly. Of course, love of those things, lusophonic or lusic, possibly, as well. I didn't comb my eyebrows this morning. What's going on here? Oh, I got to... Got to watch Instagram more often, or look at it. Do you watch Instagram or look at it? I don't know. So yes, Lucifer, definitely a thing, and maybe we need to make a little meme slide for that as well, so that everybody knows what that is for future reference. And also we need to drop a line to the Merriam-Webster Corporation. Bondi Alegria Gumpers, thank you, Cindy. Beautiful yoga pose this morning. Our Vitality in Action project continues at 50 Plus Vitality, the Facebook group. Beautiful this morning, Cindy B, with your favorite yoga pose over there. Thank you very much for that. And lots of people chatting with each other. Chris is catching up. That's nice. And T-Duck is here. I thought he wasn't here this morning. I thought he'd overslept. Marriage is a wonderful institution, said Groucho Marx. But who wants to live in an institution? Thank you very much, T-Duck, for that. I think we're out of George Carlin, aren't we? And we've moved on to Groucho Marx now. Lucifer, one who loves the Portuguese language or culture. That's us right here. Yes, I think a meme is in order. Like has been pressed. Activated. Groucho Marx, she got her looks from her father. He's a plastic surgeon. Is that a decent Groucho Marx or not? I don't know. I'll stop it. Que lindo. To the prof from Hippie Slug. Muito obrigado. Okay, that's great, isn't it? Luso is a Latin prefix. Oh, he's going the extra mile this morning. Luso is a Latin prefix, meaning relating to Portugal or the Portuguese culture. Its origins are traced to the Lusitanian tribe. And file is a lover of something, isn't it? Denoting a person or thing having a fondness for a specified thing. Hence, bibliophile, of course. James, that was magnificent. A great message to the Americans, including you, Will Smith. See me after class, Mr. says the prof to James for more. Or three of the best facts and insights of wisdom, that is. Or is it six of the best? Things have changed. It's my time. Suze, you should be very exciting. I'm going to try to close my Millennium paid Prestige account and open a free Activo account, which is also owned by Millennium. Did I miss something there? Suze is in and possibly doing banking things. Consumer Tuesday tomorrow. Tell us all about it tomorrow. And of course, tomorrow, the long-awaited Camping in Portugal edition. Okay, so let's see who's got experience of camping here in Portugal. I know that Lee has. Lee will join us tonight, of course, for the gardening show, the Happy Homesteaders Get Out and Grow Project show at 6:15 every Monday, apart from the first Monday of the month. And we'll be back tonight talking about growing your own food. Increasingly makes more and more sense, does it not? So we'll be in tonight. And I know Lee has done a bit of wild camping around Portugal. Anybody else with something to contribute tomorrow who might want to join us on screen? Certainly tune in tomorrow if you've got things to add to that conversation. We'd love to speak to you tomorrow. We're in one of those strange situations, aren't we, where we've got our schedule revolves around, first week, second week, third week, fourth week of the month for our rotation of guests and co-hosts. And we've got a few unexpected days in the bagging area tomorrow, including a fifth. Well, this is the fifth Monday, but we always have a conversation about migration with Gilda on a Monday. So no problem there. But the fifth Tuesday, fifth Wednesday, and fifth Thursday leave us a little bit of room to play with, which is quite nice. And so if you've got any other suggestions for programming this week, you're very welcome. Ask anything about Portugal Wednesday, for example. Maybe you want to join me. Maybe you think, that Doc and that Doug and that Michael Heron are rubbish. I should be on there. Well, now's your chance. If you want to join me on this fifth Wednesday of the month, give us a shout, okay? Or any other ideas for joining me, your specialist subjects you might want to come on. We like to think of this as an inclusive and open community. And if you've been waiting for your moment to join me on the screen, this week may well be it. Deagle's in, everybody. Bon dia, Carl, from sunny blue skies in Belfast. Went to 18 degrees yesterday. Lucky you. Some rain expected Wednesday, Thursday. But looking like a warm, sunny Easter. Yes, and I have some information about Easter festivities, thanks to Andy, in just a moment. GrowthCon, what's that? What a fantastic event. I'm ready to take over the world. My goodness, what's he talking about? I think I can think of worse people in that leadership position, Vitor, quite frankly. I'm having a hard time finding a Ukrainian refugee organization to pick up big furniture donations. I'll get it done. Thought it would be easier. Yes, sometimes it's like that, isn't it? The road to hell is paved with good intentions, isn't it? Or different. No good deed goes unpunished, eh? Keep going, Suze. I'm sure you'll get a breakthrough at some point. Olá, boa madrugada, Pashosh. Oh, good morning to you, Eugene. How are you? And Jeff as well. Jeff's in as well. And Jack Polly. Jack Polly, happy mummy. I mentioned, didn't I? All the best to everyone who celebrated Mother's Day yesterday. And this was the gift to Jack Polly, Jackie Polly yesterday. How was that organised? Is that a Portuguese interflora or something like that? Jack, how does it work? Let us know. A bon dia, Doros, from you. And thanks, Darren, from Suze as well. Ron's here, everybody. Bon dia from Ron in Cascais. We're sorry, Ron. We kind of picked on you, didn't we, when Mia was in? Just leaving those blooms on the screen for a little bit longer. It's Ron Dorkashkaish, wasn't it? Espero que todos tenham. Oh, look at this though. Espero que todos tenham dia maravilhoso. Wishing us all a marvelous day. Love the jokes each morning. Please keep them coming. I forward them to friends each morning. That's really nice to hear, including the dad jokes. Will you be wanting the dad joke warning? Ron, if you need the dad joke warning to send before you send certain jokes from this show, and you know what some of the joke purveyors are like here, I can send that to you on WhatsApp. Oh, yes, remind me, I need to come back to that, the Easter festivities posters, and with grateful thanks to Andy in just a moment. Oops, forward. We knew what you meant with your forward. There, Ron, no problem at all. And so delighted to hear that. Vito! From Darren. After last week, almost 100% likes. I think the Rebels in this morning, only 10 likes, 26 watching live. Yes, a reminder, Katrina Lilly. Hola from Cartera. How are you, Cartera, this morning? How's it doing down there, Katrina? Brian Taylor also in with a Bon Dia Gumpers. And yes, I mentioned Lee, didn't I, earlier on? But good morning, people. Gardening show tonight. Yes, and camping tomorrow. So you might see him again tomorrow. Morning, Carl, from Magnus as well. He ran up to the mantle to look at you. Oh, Magnus, you and me, mate. BFFs. Bon dia from a dog to a cat on the screen now. Pamela Smith's cat there. Bon dia to you, Pam. Thank you for joining us this morning. Bon dia to all. Woke up at 3:30 here in Washington, D.C. Did you switch to daylight savings time? Last week you were on at 4:30. Yes, we did. We sprung forward over the weekend. Yes to gnomes and clotheslines. Images that came to mind with James's comment on becoming Portuguese during the webinar. Oh, come on. Don't be like that with Wiley. He can't... Whole laundry gate there. Listening to James Holly in one ear and Dave Brubeck quartet and Take Five in the other ear. That's a tune, isn't it? I have to thank my mother. Happy Mother's Day to my mum. And she introduced me to Dave Brubeck. That's pretty cool, isn't it? 100% mashup of making sense. It's a new experience and a new way of life. So try that if you can multitask your hemispheres in that same way. Bit of music on one of the earbuds and another set of earbuds listening to the show. Not bad. Until we play some music. Okay, folks, got to go. To you, James. Have a great day, mate. Also, I am enjoying extension of GMP Gumpers connection via the forum. So helpful and supportive. Thank you for the shout out for the forum. Yes, expatsportugal.com/community for our forum, which is incredibly helpful. With 10,000 members on there, you would hope it would be. And it is. Bon dia todos, temos sol. So we've got sun there. Very good. Not like that here on the Silver Coast right now. It looks very drab out there. Nice enough and mild, very mild weekend. It was nice to get out in the garden with Mrs. M yesterday. Did a few things in the garden, got a few plants, growing a few veggies. She had her first fingerling white radish out of the ground yesterday and discovered some rogue potatoes in the garden. And we had lots of nice Japanese mustard leaves with our roast last night. Very nice to have a few things from the garden, isn't it? And on Saturday, a shout out to Jenny B, everybody. Feel Good Fridays. Jenny B went to see Holly Healthy HQ, and the kids had a fantastic time, as did the adults. I had a kip in the yurt, everybody. I grounded myself for nearly an hour. Just had a nice little snooze in her yurty tent in the middle of the forest. It was wonderful, absolutely wonderful. Felt very rested after that, and then had an hour stolen from me. Oh yeah, if you've got a problem with the clocks going back, you might want this one. This is quite a good way of dealing with the situation, isn't it? How about that? A clock for all seasons. Until we stop this nonsense of clocks being pushed back and forth, here's one for you. That if you want to take a screenshot now, that could be quite useful to you. There you go. Oh yeah, I better do these announcements. Oh, random Toshtimishta. Hannah Toshtimishta, not that one, but I think that's Victoria, isn't it, who sent us that? That's a classic Toshtimishta from here in Portugal. I think it's a rather muddy-looking Mer de Leite there, isn't it? But that's a good combo, the Mer de Leite Toshtimishta, uma Toshtimishta there. Had one of those, had a couple of those actually in Tomar. So after seeing Jenny B, took the kids into Tomar, into town, and there's an amazing, what's it called? There's an outdoor experience. They've got inflatables for the kids. They've got those great big globe plastic globes that you can get in and walk along on the river. They have a zip wire that goes over the river there into the cafe area, not right into the cafe, but they've got a lovely setup there for kids in Tamar at the moment. So nice to be back in that part of the country, in central Portugal, and in Tamar later on in the afternoon and the early evening. So very quickly, before we bring Gilda onto the screen, Águeda, Corrida y Caminhada. What is this? Parque de Lazar y Oyster Ribera. This is an activity day by the look of it. Because I don't actually know in Águeda, but I'm guessing from people in tracksuits that at the leisure park there is going to be, you get a free t-shirt and some fruit and water. So it is a fitness day, isn't it? The Corrida y Caminhada, a little bit of a stroll there. I think a fun run and stroll in Águeda, I'm going to go with for that. Festa da Pascoa at Praia de Mira, and let me just show you a picture of Praia de Mira. Mira is beautiful. Near Toca, which is another seaside town in the Aveiro district. You don't see it so much on tourist guides, but I know it's quite popular with I think Spanish people coming across from Spain to get to the coast. They go to Aveiro, of course, but they go to Tosha and Mira, as do a few Germans and Dutch, I think, who've settled there. There's Mira Beach, looking nice and quiet for a spring weekend, and this is the festival that's happening there, including on the 14th of April, the Desconfinados. Is that a band or is that an activity? I don't know, but it looks like fun. Gilda, let's bring Gilda onto the screen now so she can translate these blooming posters for me. Gilda, good morning.
Good morning.
Let me just take that off for a minute and give you a proper welcome. Tudo bem?
Tudo bem. E por aí, tudo bem?
Sim, muito bem, obrigado. Yeah, really good. Despite having an hour stolen from me, how have you coped with that?
I didn't notice. I slept a lot, so.
So an hour here or there didn't make much of a difference. Okay, well, great to see you. We will be getting more fitness and well-being tips from you, which has been happening over the last few weeks, as well as migration and finding a home. Sorry, what did you want to say about that?
Do you remember that in the beginning of the year I told you that my habits were going to change?
Yes, you did.
So I sleep more, I eat less, and I don't drink alcohol at all.
At all.
I just need to include a little bit of exercise, but I think it will come.
Okay, so you could go to Águeda for this. Was I right? It's a walk and a fun run, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it begins at 10 a.m.
10 a.m. and you get a free t-shirt, so you could go with just your shorts on and be given a t-shirt there, and you get fruit and water included in €5. It's worth going just for that. I think that's amazing, but they probably do want you to have a little bit of a run or a walk as well, rather than just walk off with your new t-shirt and a free meal. So there's that one, and then an Easter event. Look at this. We have the Praia de Mira, which is the beach I just showed you. It's very nice. Do you know these two beaches, Mira and Tosha, up there in the Aveiro? Tosha. Okay,
yes,
do you know those?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Very nice, aren't they? Very nice. And Easter Bunny taking it easy on the beach there. So we've got the Electric Boys, who probably are charging more and more for their performances if they're anything like EDP, and Torneo de Malia. Do you know any of these bands here, or do you think they'll be local bands? They'll be local bands.
Local bands, yeah.
Okay, so that sounds like a lot of fun from the 14th to the 16th of April. 1 de Abril, Dagosh Meal. It's coming, folks. If we haven't had enough rain, we're going to get some, aren't we, next month? And look, another walk. What's going on here? Is there a national Portuguese fitness thing going on? But you asked for it, Gilda, didn't you? You asked for some extra activity, and here it is. Caminhada, Trilho dos Moinhos, da freguesia da Vassariça. Vacarissa. Vacarissa. What's going on here then? This is a walk, is it, to these various places here?
Yes, but I heard, I've never been there, but I heard that this place is very nice.
Okay, that's the Parque dos Moinhos do Lograsol. What is that, an oily park? Is Lograsol referring to oil? As in girasol?
No.
Am I going too far with my etymology there?
No.
It's in the Melhada district anyway. Now Melhada, famous for suckling pig in the Bairrada region of Portugal there. So thank you very much, Andy, for all of these. And one more, Munhos. This is the area you're referring to, is it, Gilda? That is very pretty.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the extended timetable of the event you just saw there. Programa of the Dia Nacional dos Munhos there. So famous for windmills, we guess, and milling, perhaps. I think. Are you seeing anything of interest in there in the small print?
They don't have like food.
Okay, let's give it to that then. We're not interested. Not interested.
It's more like workshops.
Oh dear. Okay. Thanks, Andy, for that. But we're not going. There's no food. We'll go to the other one where there's fruit and water at least. Although that's a bit tight, isn't it? Let's face it. Fruit and water at a Portuguese event. Thinking about that, second thoughts. Getting a T-shirt. It's like my parents went to this event and all I got was this lousy T-shirt and an old Satsuma and a bottle of water. Big deal. I mean, what's going on to Portuguese culture? I'm sensing a disturbance in the force this morning. That's 2 events that don't have proper food at them. I'm going to write to the Prime Minister. This is no good. We go to the south. Look at that. Thank you, Anna. Anna Olsen sending this in from the south, from VRSA. Look at that. I think the girls getting excited with the fisher folk by the water. That's a lovely picture. Beautiful. Anyone seen a flamingo yet this year? And any other pictures of great wildlife, bird life, gratefully received. Saw a fantastic picture of Dois Pica-Pau over the weekend. The beautiful red and black and white woodpeckers. Wildlife in Portugal. Great group on Facebook. Saw the most beautiful picture of 2 woodpeckers attached to a tree. Okay, enough of that. Enough of all of that. Let's get on to the serious matter of migration on Migration Monday with Gilda Pereira this morning from and that reminds me, I have a depiction of you, which I don't think you'll be especially happy about. Are you familiar with the Happy Days? Did we establish that last time you were here? The Happy Days TV show. Was that a thing in Portugal in the 80s?
What?
No? Yeah. was it? Sorry, I was elsewhere trying to find this picture. What I'll do is I'll show you the picture, and then we'll discover in an instant, because a picture, as we know, can paint a picture paints 1,000 words, or something like that. Do you remember this show from the 1980s, Gilda? Monday, Friday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy. This is not registering at all, is it?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't remember.
Okay, thanks, Chris, for that. But it hasn't worked on this occasion. The reason that was said is the character on the left of the screen is called the Fonz. How do I explain this to somebody who's never seen Happy Days? And it's set in 1950s America in a diner, I think. And the Cunninghams, do they own the diner? But a lot of people who are actually too old to be teenagers pretended to be teenagers. It sounds really bad now. And the catchphrase of the lead character, who was called the Fonz, who was Henry Winkler, the American actor Henry Winkler, used to have this catchphrase, "Hey!" You see? That's the connection. That is the connection there. Sorry, that was a long and convoluted path to the punchline there. Oh, and look at this. I've got sunshine.
You need to remember that I was living in Africa. So my culture, until I came to high school. It's very.
Okay. Well, yes, you make a good point, and this would have been quite disturbing if you'd seen that in the 80s. A vision of yourself in the future, set in an American comedy sitcom kind of thing. Yep. Okay. Well, let's move on. I'm getting sunshine. The sunshinometer is registering on the green screen. It looks like a scene, another televisual reference from the UK this time. It looks like the square window from Play School behind me at the moment. And that's a really nice effect, letting you know that the sun is showing its face here on the Silver Coast. Migration Monday then, Gilda. How are things looking in the capital? In the world of migration, how's it going there? Any updates of any kind from anywhere in the world of migration, Seth, etc.?
Well, I think that we still have, I don't think, I'm sure that we still have on the top of migration, Americans. Yeah.
Yep. Oh, yes.
And then the second one, the British. Yeah.
Yay. Oh, I feel like playing all the national anthems. Okay. And do you want to say who's in third, or is that really that's who's taking up most of your time at the moment, is it?
Yeah, in third, I don't know, maybe it's between Brazilians, South African, and Indians.
Okay, all right. So, but clearly the bulk of your inquiries and processing is to do with the great Anglo-American relationship, the Brits and the Americans there. Okay, well, we played a little bit of a video, which I'll show you actually, which you might appreciate. It was James the hippie slug talking about if you're expecting this to be America, forget it. And that's what Pam's responding to here. If Portugal was like where you came from, there would be no point coming. Well said, Pam. And a bon dia a todos. Lovely morning here in Hertfordshire. Off to the zoo shortly with number 2 son and granddaughter, later working on Tuesday's training tips to teach the toes. Nice one. 50 plus vitality in the group there. Motivational message from the coach if you want to see that over there. But not yet. Joao F is here. Good morning, Gumpers. Shouting out to everybody, literally there. Bon dia, Rafael. He's back. We won't mention Italy being knocked out of the World Cup, Rafael, just so that you can all hear me. Yes, thank you very much for that, Joao F. That's quite an entrance you've made there, my friend. And send them all. What was that? Americans, possibly. Bon dia, Alegria, Gumpers, midnight hit. Oh, no, that's the jokes. He wants everything sent his way. So more jokes for Ron to send on to his friends. He watches this show in Portugal, where they do jokes and then he sends them on to his mates. I loved hearing that this morning, Ron. Marty's in. Look, Bon dia, Alegria, Gumpers, midnight here in Alaska. Still several feet of snow here, but hoping to land in Portugal a week from today. Yes! For an Expats.
I am waiting for Marty to come to our office.
Yes.
He has promised something.
Is it fish?
No. So I'm really looking forward.
No. You're not going to say what it is, are you? You're not going to share that secret with us this morning.
I don't know if he allows us.
Okay, fair enough. Marty, if you're coming to the Silver Coast, I would like to see you too. Bon dia, Carl, from James, the other James, 30 minutes on the bike in the gym, my cellar. Doesn't sound quite as glamorous, does it, when you put it like that, James? But great to see. I'm in my cellar. Half an hour in the cellar on a sweaty bike. We didn't. Thanks for being here this morning, James. And have you got any jokes? We didn't need the heating on last night for the first time. Spring has sprung. Mrs. M said the same thing. The temperature is changing, isn't it? How is it this morning in the capital, Gilda, or just across from the capital?
Well, I haven't been outside yet, and I'm a very cold person, so for me it hasn't changed yet.
I'm a very cold person. Cold person, warm.
For me, it's always cold.
Yeah, you know, is that a Portuguese phrase as well? A cold person, warm heart. Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. Mm-hmm. That's a global saying. So, dad joke warning. Tech cowgirl. I've got to do the whole thing here. Hold on a minute. Let's put this is for you, Ron, to pass on as well.
Warning.
Oh no, indeed. Here it comes. So dad joke warning. It's had some livestock here in Canada for a while that involved llamas and a couple of cows, donkey and cloven hoofed ones, whose name daren't be mentioned. Oh, I see. That's why. So that the road to hell was paved with goat intentions. Oh my word. Ouch. Thank you, Tech Cowboy, for that. This morning, I found out that one of my political heroes, Dawn Butler, oh no, is recovering from a breast cancer diagnosis and operation. I hope she recovers quickly. I've had the pleasure of meeting Dawn Butler. Wow. Okay. Yes, lots of love from us all. And all the best with all of that, Dawn Butler. And thank you, Chris, for sharing that with us. Send this on. Send this on to Dawn from us, wishing her well from Portugal here this morning. with. A corrida is a running race, usually a 10K. Well, we're definitely not going if it's that long and arduous, but thank you for sharing with us, Andy. This exercise thing then, Gilda, I'll send you the links to our 50 plus vitality thing. We're doing a gentle exercise every week. It might be right up your street. I know you're not 50 plus, but it might get the heart rate above 50 or whatever vital that is that a bad thing? I don't know, but you might like some of the tips anyway that we are sharing over there in that group. No disrespect to you to invite you to a 50 plus group.
No, I'm almost there.
No, I can't believe that. So how is it going then with the fitness? What do you fancy in terms of extra strenuousness, fitness, that kind of stuff?
No, I need to do exercise. Otherwise, I don't feel that's.
I'm hearing that. No, I am hearing that. I think we're all hearing that. But the next bit is actually doing it, isn't it? That sounds very, if I may say so, it does sound a little bit passive and aspirational, saying I need to do exercise.
Yeah, but I'm so lazy.
Okay. Then let's see. Any suggestions this morning then for
any suggestions from doing exercise, sitting on my couch or laying on my bed?
Okay. It might involve putting some training shoes on, what I had in mind. Not especially, we've got just a thing for you, Gilda. I will send it to you after the show. What's this? You're absolutely right. We should stop this time-changing nonsense. Let us live on GMP time. Yeah, I mean, Portuguese people, insight into the culture here, Gilda. Every year this happens. The Portuguese people say, this is ridiculous. Let's stop it. With the daylight saving, etc.
Yeah, but never stopped.
No, okay. Same everywhere then. Gnomes and Clothesline was meant as a sincere, not facetious. I know, Suze, I know. I got a bit defensive about Wiley, who does her absolute best over there. She has different tastes to some people here, but she does her absolute best. And pleased to be working with Wiley and receiving her insight from over there in Cascais. And so none taken, none meant there, Suze. After a couple of nice spring-like days, we're back below freezing for a few more days. Yikes, in New Jersey. But magnolias, daffodils, and forsythia are blooming, so spring has sprung. Now, we found out in our gardening group, John Agate, who's part of the team, posts up a Friday gardening tip. Daffodil, the original meaning of daffodil, is come early. So that's why, then they are the herald of spring, aren't they? They come early in the growing season or the blooming season. And that is the etymology or the origins of the name. Thank you very much, John, for that. No. Drove past when passing through Lisbon, went to Ceia and Castelo Branco. Ceia for house buying stuff and Castelo Branco for giving a statement to the police due to the stolen payment. Oh no, the stolen down payment. Are we any closer to wrapping that up? Have you got your money back, Baddy? I hope you have. Hola, bon dia, Gilda from Sam and Nazare this morning.
Bon
Good
dia.
morning, summertime, Gilda. Look at that. You are the herald, just like the daffodil. You are a herald of the change of seasons as well. Daylight savings, bring on daylight spendings. Well, hey, Muñoz are mills. There you go. Thanks, Andy, for all of those this morning. Water mills and windmills. And what about the windmills of your mind? Round like a circle in a spiral, like a wheel within a wheel. Do you know that one, Gilda? Sing along with me if you like. No. That walk is to commemorate the Windmills National Day. Yay, Portugal. Go, Portugal. We have got a National Windmill Day here. That's brilliant. Good morning. I'm a United States citizen and was just granted Croatian citizenship by descent. First question from Stephanie Dolignac this morning. What would I have to do to be a full-time resident in Portugal, Gilda?
Okay, so if you are a Croatian citizen now, you can come as an European citizen and have your NIF, find a lease agreement, and then make your registration at a city hall, and you will be granted as with a resident permit for 5 years. And
there you go.
it.
That's it. I was going to answer that one because I know that one. But there you go, Stephanie. we're delighted to bring you that good news this morning. You can just rock up with your EU citizenship there by descent from Croatia, and all should be fairly easy. Apart from Gilda, and this is something I wanted to talk to you about this morning, it's becoming increasingly difficult, is it not, to secure accommodation here in Portugal? There's a big demand. And there are a number of angles we can talk about with securing property, a home here in Portugal. But you have a solution, don't you? You have the Casa Portuguesa solution. Before we go into the solution, what's your picture of this? What's your view on this? Are you hearing this a lot from people who are trying to move to Portugal, that they're struggling to find accommodation and property?
Come on, this became very.
You're going to give me a talking to now, aren't you? Come on, bring it on.
No, because it gets me very frustrating, and for my clients, because this when we started doing the D7 visas, it was much easier. We could show several ways of finding an accommodation. It could be an Airbnb, it could be a promissory rental agreement, and there were several ways of showing that we could have a place to stay in Portugal. And now they are demanding 1 year lease agreement. And this is not easy to find when you are not in Portugal. And then another problem is that you have to close the agreement, and then you need to submit the process. And then this means that you are paying the rental agreement while the process is running. So you are paying without knowing if the process is going to be approved and when the process is going to be approved. And I think that this is a little bit unfair.
Yes, I agree with you. What would be the better way of doing it? Because I suppose the government, to be fair to the government, would say, well, we can't have people coming here causing chaos and not having somewhere to live. So what would be a better way of managing this whole process?
Okay, so that's why we try to, because we were helping many people with this process, and then we try to separate the two business and the two firms, A from Casa Portuguesa, and we have two teams, two separated teams. And Casa Portuguesa is only focused on helping people to find accommodation, because it's not easy to find a place. Many places that are on the internet are not available yet because the things are changing every day. And then we try to call the agencies, because it's not updated. Things that are online are not available anymore, and they have things that are available but are not online. And then they send it to us, we send to the clients. If the clients like, we go there and we take pictures, we take videos, we send to them, we negotiate the prices. We need always to explain that our clients are expats. We need to explain the context of the visa and the income, where the income is coming from. And because they are not Portuguese, they always ask for rent in advance. Sometimes it's 3 rents, sometimes it's 6 rents, and sometimes they all the rents in advance.
Well, this is part of the problem, isn't it? At the moment, is that we are hearing this more and more, that some landlords are thinking, hold on a minute, I think we might be able to get a whole year out of it, and that is unfair and unnecessary, isn't it? As well, I think, and they would, I guess, make the case that we're taking a risk here. We don't know these people; they're from a foreign country, etc. So they want their security. But it's not really working, is it? This is becoming quite stressful for people, and that's a lot of money to find up front, especially when you're thinking, okay, well, I need it for my conditions, but I might not like the place ultimately. It's not that they can't afford to rent somewhere. It's that they might not want to put a whole year of upfront rental into somewhere. When arriving, realizing that would be okay for 3 months, it would be okay to find your feet and have a base camp, but not a whole 12-month commitment. So presumably then, as Casa Portuguesa, as people who can negotiate on people's behalf here, you can ask people to not be so unreasonable and say, look, we've got 6 months rent. We know these people. We have a professional relationship with them. Is that working? Is that stopping this, what could be considered greed or over fearful position that some landlords are taking?
Yes, most of the time it works, but we need to have in mind that for CEF and according to the Portuguese law, the minimum that the Portuguese law considers for living, for a contract for living, it's 1 year.
Yeah.
So we will always have the law against that, but it's always against asking for 1 year in advance.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So here it is. If you need help of this kind, that's your website there, casaportuguesa. It's a .pt. Oh, it's a casaportuguesa.com.pt. And very helpfully in English as well. So finding the house, and then the other important business of the negotiation when you found the place, and then helping you move in and setting up home with all the utilities and all that sort of stuff. So this picture then, Gilda, of it becoming increasingly difficult, you're definitely seeing that. You've got a business solution to it there, as we can see, Casa Portuguesa. But what do you think is going to happen? I mean, presumably some Portuguese landlords might think to themselves, hold on, or other businesses, people might move into this area and say, hold on a minute, there is a steady flow of American and British and Brazilian and all the other people you mentioned this morning coming in. They need a 12-month contract to get their not so much for the Brazilians, of course, it's a different arrangement, but although maybe it's the same, isn't it? But they need this 12-month, or a lot of people need this 12-month lease up front. Do you think people are going to be entrepreneurial and innovative and come up with some solutions from the landlord, from the accommodation, from the housing sector?
To be honest, I don't think so.
Okay. It's an opportunity that might be missed then. Okay, well,
I never heard about it. Okay.
Well, that said, there's definitely an opening for it, isn't there? For somebody to move into this space and take the heat out of it, to take the stress out of it. And then you can't take the stress out of this. You know this more than anybody in the migration business. There are stressful parts to it, no question about that. But that stress can be minimized, can't it, and reduced, and we can take out some of the unnecessary toing and froing and anxiety and worry that people might have in the process. And I think the housing piece of that is very important. And I see an incredible opportunity in the middle of all of that. If there is an entrepreneur tuned in, or team or company that would deal with this, I think there's a great opportunity to help people with that. Okay, we'll come back to that, because you can live in a windmill here, can't you? Windmills are for sale and have been converted into homes. Winyosh windmills, there are also events for this day in other areas as well. Other windmill celebrations and devotional ceremonies are available around the country. And the watermill is Azenia there, Antonio F. telling us. Thank you. Yes, waiting for the warrant to trace the bank payment, and then all will be clear, apparently. Oh, that's good news, buddy. Thank you to letting us know that. It's good to see the organised runs and walks starting up again. Nazare Run is open for applications if you're interested, Carl. Gilda, what do you think? Shall we... No. Okay, Spark 74. Hello, Carl, Gilda. My wife and I arrive in Portugal Friday. Yay! Nice one, Spark 74. What happened? What's going on in the picture there, Gilda, do we think?
I don't know. Maybe he was riding a bike and he went straight, and he crashed into a tree.
Yes, or the unveiling of a new hairstyle, possibly as well. Anyway, Spark 74, my wife's follow-up D7 appointment with CEF is in June. Must I wait until before contacting CEF for my reunification appointment, or can I contact them before? So, yes, that's a great question, Spark 74. Thank you very much. What do you think, Gilda, with this?
No, it has to be after, because to make the appointment, you need to give her resident permit number.
Yes. Okay, so after Spark 74, but good effort there, trying to get a little bit ahead, anticipating a little bit of a delay possibly with the reunification process, but it cannot be sped up that way, so you'll have to wait until after. So just so you know, Gilda, from that earlier sharing of this image, the Fonz is super cool, and by implication, you are super cool as well. Was Happy Days, you're American, Gene, you should know this stuff. Was Happy Days a spin-off of American Graffiti? I think it might have been. He could hit the jukebox and make it play his song. That's right. James, obviously a Happy Days and Fonzie fan there. Darren, Carl Munson really enjoying Gilda questioning her life choices that have led her to having Fonzie explained to her. Yeah, that was good of you, Gilda. And that's not, well, I think we're there now, Prof. Eusebio. Got to speak with Henry Winkler briefly, says Raphael, during lockdown. Such a nice person. Check you out. He's actually spoken to the Fonz. And I'm thinking, Italian person meeting the Fonz, there's going to be a lot of, hey, isn't there, with that? That's one of the things I like about Gilda. In spite of being a worldwide celebrity, she remains a modest person. There you go. How about that? Not like the Fonz, possibly, in that regard. Okay. Bon dia, beautiful Gilda. What is your favorite TV show or film at the moment? So let's move away from Happy Days and the Fonz and talk about areas of entertainment that you may be more comfortable with, Gilda. What are you watching from that sofa that you mentioned?
Actually, I'm watching Succession.
What is that?
At HBO.
Is it good? Would you recommend it?
Yeah, it's not for everybody.
It sounds like it might be a grown-up sort of thing, and violent, possibly. Is it about the business?
No, it's not violent.
Oh, okay. Is it the bad side of human nature, possibly? Sounds like it could.
No, it isn't. But
then why would you watch it?
If everybody, does someone here knows what Succession is?
Okay, can we have a synopsis?
It's cool, yeah, it's cool.
Right.
It only has some bad words and some nutty guys.
I would never watch anything like that. I'd never watch anything like that. I've been watching Dear White People, which I'm finding very entertaining and amusing and educational. And that's on, I think that's on Netflix, isn't it? Morning, Gilda and Carl. Applying D7 visa in Nantes, France, says Joyce Wood. Good morning, Joyce. Are there any minimum requirements we must have, such as an urban article for habitation? Wow, I think that's the first time that's been said in this context. Must be in a habitable condition. Can it be exempt from a habitation license if it has a certificate and hasn't been altered? Does each embassy consulate vary in its requirements? Your advice is appreciated. So there's the first bit, Gilda. And good morning to you, Joyce, in Nantes, in France today. How is it over there? What do you think of this one then, Gilda?
It needs to be. It needs to have a certification of habilitation. Okay. So it needs to be certified that you are able to live in there.
Yes.
Although it can be not ready to be occupied yet, and it needs to have a mailbox so you can get the resident permit there.
Okay, so really known to the government as a place of residence.
Yeah.
Because some people want to buy a pile of rocks in central Portugal, don't they, and claim that they now have a house, which, you know, in their mind's eye, it is a house. And in the future, it might be, but at the moment, it's not. And you can't really get away with that. I'm not saying that's you, Joyce, but I hope that's helpful. Do come back to us if you'd like to know more on Migration Monday. Here with Gilda Pereira from Bon dia, Gumpers. Viv and I just tuned in. A new week, and our move to long-term rental begins. Well, there's somebody who's found a house and a home, and that's with the help of Vitor Costa. If you're looking in the north, we have a great helper up there, as I'm sure Bob and Viv will tell you. Sad Panda. Oh, that not too many Canucks coming to Portugal. Having to explain Letterkenny is an uphill battle. See, I don't even understand what he's talking about. Canucks, I think, is Canadians, isn't it? But I think that you are dealing with quite a few Canadians, aren't you? But not as many as you are British and American.
Yes, I am.
Yeah. Okay. What do you do? What you do behind your door is your business. What you do outside your door is embrace Portugal. Yes, that's right. That is a really good way of putting it, James. Yes, I like that a lot. Letterkenny, a TV show. Okay, very Canuck, don't you know? We are being educated from every angle this morning, Gilda. A question for you from Darren. Does EI and Casa Portuguesa share fiscal representation if a client engages both companies to get the D7 and a rental?
No, if you ask Casa Portuguesa to have a need for a D7, they are going to say that they don't do that service, and they are going to send you to A.
Oh, okay, all right. So, but either way, you're going to be covered, aren't you? If you want fiscal representation, that can be managed from within the camp that is connected to both companies there. Okay, Matty's here. Hola, bon dia. I hope that answers your question, Darren. Let me know if it doesn't.
I'm sorry, because in Portugal, the companies have different core business, and that is on the scope of the company. So each company has another scope, and Casa Portuguesa has a scope for real estate consultancy. So we cannot do it.
Okay, and I was thinking about
even if we want it.
Yes, because here in Portugal, unlike some other places, when you go and register your business, you have to say what you're going to be doing, don't you? So you can't suddenly start rocket science or brain surgery on a whim because you had a good idea over the weekend on the Monday morning, can you? Now, why is that, Gilda? Is that to stop unfair competition? Is that so the government knows what everybody's up to? Why do people have to be so specific? And in this age of entrepreneurialism and innovation, that seems quite restrictive, doesn't it? What is the thinking behind it? Do you think that it is so sort of specific in your business registration?
It's for the government to control what you are doing, and
really?
But
honestly,
if you want to change, you need to communicate to the government, and they need to agree with you.
Yeah, and is that normally a fairly straightforward process?
Yeah.
Will you be challenged? You know, if you do want to suddenly start doing rocket science.
Yes, but for instance, for real estate, it's very difficult to change.
Oh, is it?
It's almost impossible. Yeah.
Oh, because what? They want to control the industry.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, interesting.
So I cannot just put there in the real estate that we are going to do visas now.
Yeah, and in many ways that's probably quite a good thing, isn't it? Because this is people have this experience, don't they, of going to a real estate company in Portugal and say, "Can you help us with this?" Yes. Can you help us with that? Yes. Can you help us with that? Oh, yes. And actually they can't, and they're probably not allowed to in some instances. So yes, be very careful with that. It's a good reminder. Thank you for that, Gilda. Matty's here. Hola, bon dia, alegria. Todos de Amsterdam. Come on, Matty, get yourself over here, mate. Hope you're okay there. And oops, forgot your time change. Bon dia, Carl, Gilda, and everyone. We do have a clock for you. We'll send you one of these after the show. Where's my special clock gone? Here we go.
Michelle.
Yeah, there you go. That's for you. That's for you, Gilda. For you, Michelle, not for you, Gilda. Okay, and yes, good morning to you, Michelle. Very welcome here this morning. Desejando uma semana lenta para Gilda em todo de melhor para Mandela.
Oh,
we didn't ask about Mandela. How is he? I think no news is good news with the little rascal, right?
Mandela is getting very spoiled. Okay,
Yep.
Now we can barely go out of the house.
Why?
He starts crying. It's very difficult. He needs to get with the nanny when we go out of the house.
He needs to get what? He's got his own nanny?
Yeah.
Have you employed someone to look after him?
More or less.
No, tell me it isn't so. What a spoiled little fellow he is. Your parents must, this escalated, isn't it? Not only does he live inside and he's being treated like a child, he now has his own staff and team, entourage.
He makes a lot of noise and he cries a lot, and I fear for my neighbors.
Matty, I think some dog training input is required here. No disrespect to you, Gilda, but don't let him twist you around his little claw here. I think that's what's going on, I have to say. Now, I've got a little bit, you're just picking up, because I like to think of myself as a good listener here. You're asking for fitness tips earlier on, and you've got a dog that doesn't like to be left in the house. Why not take him for a little walk around the block?
He doesn't like to.
Nor do you. that's two of you then, isn't it? Okay. And he's a sausage dog as well, isn't he? So it's not as if you're going to be going on a 10K with him. He'd be exhausted, wouldn't he, after that? And with gravel rash and all sorts of conditions with the low undercarriage and everything.
And we tried to get him out of the house. He goes down the street. He does what he has to do, and he tries to pull to come back to the house.
Oh, I'm much the same. But yes, I guess you could extend, and this is Coach Turner's advice, is just to do a little bit more each day. Don't overdo it, because that's bad to overdo it. You set up a neural pathway of, oh, that was too hard and too tiring. Just a little bit each day, and then you can trick him and yourself into walking further each day. Okay, question. This is a slightly random one, but we're used to that from T-Duck here, who I will be doing a radio show tonight, music show, the Bubble Off Centre radio show, 7:30 this evening. Does anyone, where we share our love and passion for music, and please come and share yours with us as well at 7:30. Does anyone know about scuba diving in Portugal? A friend wants to come over and do some diving. Also, where are the good dive shops? Do you know anyone who does this, Gilda? And this could be
yes, in Sesimbra.
Sesimbra is the diving capital by the sound of it. So, okay, there you go, Sesimbra. And you will not be disappointed going to Sesimbra. It's beautiful over there, Thunderduck. So while your friend goes diving, you can go and recreate the scene from James Bond in the Arabada National Park. It's absolutely beautiful over there. Sesimbra is a fine place. That is where you will be diving. And we're talking about sea diving. We're not talking about lakes or anything like that, are we? We're talking about Sesimbra on that beautiful coastal town. Yeah. And there is a fort there, isn't there, Gilda, where the British, in a most uncharacteristic display of aggression, fired on the Portuguese coast. And there are still marks in the fort at Sesimbra where the British unloaded the barrels of their sea ship guns, I think, there. But it's all fine now. Everything's fine again. But yes, go to Sesimbra. It's an amazing place. Carla at A helps us find our apartment. We've been here almost a year and still really love the place. So there's a satisfied customer there. That's great to know, isn't it? Oof, what's this? Kids, I am tardy to the party. Today. How is everyone doing? Another one who overslept this morning. Morning to you, Victoria. Also on the faculty of 50 Plus Vitality, helping you rediscover your creativity. Could there not be some kind of guarantor system? Now, this is a great question from Richie Triangle. I'm trying to think of a triangle joke. Have you got a triangle joke this morning, Gilda?
What is that?
It's a pointed question from Richie Triangle. I'll go with that for now. So a guarantor system, we have had this question before now, where the landlord can rely on somebody else. So instead of giving 12 months up front, there is a legal contract.
Yes, I said
yes.
that I know.
Can we do this? Can this be facilitated, created in some way for those coming over needing the 12-month lease?
They will ask, if you don't want to pay in advance, of course you can present a guarantor.
And who can that be? Because traditionally, back in the day, your guarantor would be your parents, wouldn't it? And that's, it's not as if the people moving over at 18 and just about to start out in life with a parental guarantor. If it's a contract, it's a contract, is it? If somebody agrees to fill in, as it were, should the conditions not be met, can it be anybody agreeing to do that for the people coming to Portugal?
Yes, it needs to be someone that fills in income taxes in Portugal.
Oh, okay. So you're looking for a Portuguese fiscally registered person to be your guarantor. Well, that's not going to be easy, is it?
No.
It's quite simply. Okay, but there's the answer to your question, Richie Triangle. Gilda, not sure if you're wanting any comedy movie recommendations anymore. The one for today is A Fish Called Wanda. I think I can stop now. Yes, with the great John Cleese and Jamie, whatever her name is. I personally don't know any scuba diving shops, but for a long time, a friend of mine is doing it for over 30 years for underwater photography. And there we go. Answers to questions. That's how we roll here on the Good Morning Portugal show. Thanks, Roef, for helping Thunderduck there. Morning, beautiful people from a sunny Portugal this morning, and from Darren to Victoria. Happier that the show is back at 1:30 my time instead of 2:30. I really, really appreciate the efforts of anyone who gets up at crazy o'clock. Like Suzanne, this evolving rental requirement has been making me reconsider. Oh no! You see, this is what it's come to, isn't it? I'd like to migrate to Portugal, but this is a red flag. Yes.
You see, that's why I talk like a teenager at the beginning.
Yeah. Well, we
understand
this,
you, Suzanne. I understand you.
Yeah, we're feeling the pain of this. And we've asked you before, haven't we, Gilda? Can you not mention this to the government as a leading person in migration in Portugal, as a well-respected person in an industry? Surely they should listen to you.
That's another problem. We have a new government.
Oh, okay. So I've got you. So any inroads and influence you might have at governmental level has to wait in the queue while the new government settles itself.
Yes. And let's say that the new ministry that which CEF is above, let's say,
I can hear you trying to be very diplomatic here. Go on.
We don't have the best relationship.
In
the world.
Right. Okay. All right. Is that the migration industry and that particular department? Is that the problem? Is that they're not very outward focused?
I tried to talk to him more than once when he was like Secretary of State about migration matters that I thought that were not working that well. And he was like, I cannot talk to you. I cannot talk to you. We shouldn't talk about these matters. Otherwise, we can go to prison. And I was like, no, it's not like I want any privilege or something. I just think that we want to discuss things because it's better for the country. And he was, no, we need to stop this conversation. I was like, it's crazy.
Okay, but on a more, I'm giggling because I do like how you have phrased and put that and how you see it. And clearly, what's required here, I think, is some sort of association of expats and migrants as well, isn't it? And it would look like we're the ideal candidates to do that, to have a representative body, because this is not an insignificant group of people with a not insignificant amount of GDP contribution, right? I mean, you must have done so much for the Portuguese economy that I would have thought would have made you a good person to listen to. And it can all be done officially, of course. It's not what your man there was fearing, was it? This is a really important thing for Portugal's economy, and there are other aspects to it, aren't there? Like the thing we're talking about, like the accommodation, like the impact of expats and immigrants, how to manage that, how to have people come and contribute in a useful way. If those things aren't talked about, they can go off in strange and awkward directions, can't they? So I think the time is here to speak of this of this body, of this association, and hopefully we at some point we might be able to get some representation to government. I think that's.
And now the guy is a minister. How do you say?
A minister. Yeah, a minister. Yeah.
And I was so shocked.
Okay, so not a big fan, but let's see if we can turn that round on a more collective sort of level there. Thank you for that input, Suzanne. Appreciate that. Another question from Chris. Hi, Gilda. Have you seen any changes in the way that CEF are working at the moment? When will they be disbanded and the replacement taking over? This is the same sort of thing, isn't it? It's connected to the change of government. The process was slow already. Any news on that, Gilda?
It's supposed to be in June, July.
Do you think it will be?
Yeah.
Okay, June, July then, Chris. Gilda, can you talk about the sponsorship letter? What is the requirement of the sponsor and what are the financial liabilities? So do you understand that, Gilda, or do we think that's the kind of attestado sort of level that T-Duck's talking about there? Am I right?
No, I understand that the
Oh,
sponsorship
okay.
letter, it's something that someone Portuguese or a foreigner that already lives in Portugal with a resident permit needs to make a letter. Okay, there is a template saying that he's going to be responsible for the accommodation and for the expenses for that person, and then it needs to go to the notary, and the signature needs to be recognized. Okay, the consulate accepts that also.
Okay, but we haven't talked about that at all, and that needs talking about in this context, isn't it? So that is one way of look. Suzanne's back with this one. A 12-month lease is one thing. Paying a year's rent in advance is not feasible, and we understand that, and that we have been addressing that in some way this morning. This is an option then. If you have somebody who you're willing to sponsor, that they wouldn't have to show a 12-month lease.
Exactly.
Right. Okay. But this is quite, and so the second part of T-Duck's question is important here. What are the financial liabilities? Presumably, you are completely responsible for that person as their sponsor.
Yes, presumably you are.
Right. Okay.
But that person needs to have to be confident that, of course, you are going to pay your bills.
Okay. All right. There you go.
Otherwise, when you go to SEF and you don't show that you are going to be able to pay your bills or to renew your resident permits, if you don't show that you are able to pay your bills, that person needs to show that she's going to pay your bills on your behalf.
Okay, there you go, T-Duck. I think that's a very good answer to a very good question there. Spark74, that's a still from Weird Science. I am no better off for knowing that. That's a picture from Weird Science right before they summon Kelly O'Rourke. Gilda, does that mean anything to you? Me neither. My SEF appointment is finally here this Friday. Yay, Lonnie! Should I be concerned that it is April Fool's Day? I think that's a genuine question. April Fool's Day, Dia das Mentiras. Can you imagine, though, a bureaucrat at SEF saying to Lonnie, I'm sorry, I'm afraid this is totally unacceptable. We cannot proceed with this any further. And Lonnie's like, why? Only kidding. Only kidding. It's the Dia das Mentiras today. Is that literally the day of lies? Yeah. Is that what you call it here? A day of lies? My goodness. Okay. So more cultural insight here, please. And so, Lonnie, you're going to be fine. We're all rooting for you. Lots of luck and love to you. And that should be fine on April Fool's Day. However, what is the what would be a good prank? How do Portuguese people go about this, Gilda? Is there stuff on the TV, stuff in the newspapers? Do they take it on board?
Yeah, on TV, newspaper.
Oh, okay.
Everyone has a little life.
Yeah, because if you do get any bad news on Friday, you can just say, very funny, and just get up and walk out, can't you? Bon dia, everyone, from James Zhao. Just wondering if there's any update on getting residency cards under the Brexit withdrawal agreement. Sorry if this has been answered today. Not at all, James. Has there been any update, Gilda?
No, not yet.
A lot of love.
I've just checked with SEF last week. And they said that they don't know when they are making a trial in a source, but they don't know when they are going to start doing it.
There you go, James. Sorry, nothing further to report from the previous situation there. A lot of love for John Cleese and Janie Lee Curtis. Janie Lee Grace is someone else. And Kevin Kline. A lot of love for that film, A Fish Called Wanda there. Happy Days apparently resulted in 7 different spin-off series, including Laverne and Shirley. Wow. Mork and Mindy. And Joni loves Chachi. Don't remember that one. But Morecambe, Mindy, Nanu, Shazbot. My goodness, all these childhood memories coming back, Gilda. Phil at Mace Games. Bon dia, 2 weeks before we land in Portugal for a holiday, and we have a couple of properties to look at for our retirement plan. Excited. Well done, Phil. What is Mace Games? And I'm going to ignore the comments because we are coming to a close this morning. No disrespect to speech impediments, but that was his character that Klein mercilessly attacked. Canuck is Canadian, dual British citizen, just started living here 3 weeks ago. Yay! Okay, thank you very much. That's a new one on me. Canucks, where does that come from? That's nothing to do with the loony birds, is it? Because that was news to me as well just recently. Envisioning a need for Gilda services. There you go, Suze. Isn't it funny? You watch Gilda for weeks and weeks on end and think, I don't need that. I don't need that. And then suddenly it dawns on us. We need Gilda. Hey, thanks, Carl and Gilda. There sounds like Mandela is training Gilda.
That's true. That's so true.
Yep, Gilda, if you want to come by and do some training for Mandela, let me know. Or if you want Matty to help you. And to Mandela from Taxi. Keep the leash short and do abrupt turns in front of him whenever he tugs to get ahead. He will eventually decide he needs to follow your lead. Yes, I've been working with Jimmy Chu on that for some time now, and it's beginning to show some promise, I have to say. Muito obrigado for the advice, Gilda. No head injury. Do you have a touch from Weird Science? My favorite book. And that is a bra. There you go.
Oh, yeah.
And who hasn't done that at some point in their life? I'm sure it's not just me. Hola, Carl. Gilda, have a great week, everyone. From Owen. Morning, Owen. Can an expat with a residency or Portuguese company be the guarantor for a rental contract? Yes, I think, yes, if you become a fiscal subject, you can do that, Bob. Good to know.
As long as you have already submit any
tax
personal income tax. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. My 50-kilogram baby dog just gave me one of those full-face kisses of his. Yay! I bet that's an all-encompassing experience. Hi, all. Southwest, I'm going to go with. No, SW is here. Hi, all. It's been a long time. Enjoyed Bon Fin in Porto. We'll miss the pastries. Oh, and the kindness of the Porto folk and the swearing, right? And lunch combo meals for €5. Oh, when are you coming back, SW? Gilda's voice is hypnotic. There's another possibility. You can't do that with Casa Portuguesa because it's not listed with the government. Carl just sent you a picture of Gilda in succession to your... I don't know if I dare share that or not. Another technique for Mandela, but you do look a little strange using it. Straight away, when you feel him tug the lead, just stop and stand still. There you go. Wait until you feel him stop pulling even a wee bit. Straight away, you say something like, good, or yes. It's conditioning. So you need to possibly, Gilda, turn that round. Train him rather than having him train you. The way to deal with government ministers that seems to be swimming against the tide is to publish a well-worded full-page letter in the public domain that is still a national newspaper. James, you've escalated it there. Gilda, last week you mentioned in passing some sort of deadline occurring around June. Not sure what you meant. Sorry if this is too vague. Does that make any sense to you?
I think it was about it was for people that are in Portugal with tourist visa that they are extended until the end of June.
Okay.
It's not the case, Marty.
Nothing to worry about for Marty though, right?
Looking to see you on the 5th of April.
Indeed, yes. And as I say, Silver Coast, perfect. Come over
yeah, that's the succession.
They look like a happy bunch, don't they? That looks like so much fun, that show. But there you go. I'll send that on to you there. You can put that on your LinkedIn profile if you wish to, Gilda. What a crazy bunch. And that was Chris, Capricorn Chris did that. Hit the likes, everybody. Morning, Carl and Gilda from Sandra. Was just in the US doing business after living here for 9 months. Can't believe how many people I ran into who are researching moving to Portugal. Yep, absolutely,
Send
Sandra.
them to us. Send them to us, Sandra.
Send it to us for sure. Gilda, another question. Does Portugal have something like a digital nomad visa? Usually a short-term under a year or so visa for people coming to work in and work remotely. I know the D2 and D7, but are there others?
No, there is not a specific visa for digital nomads, but analyzing the profile of the people, they can be either a D2 or a D7.
There you go. Well done to Canada, says Prof. Eusebio, for qualifying for the World Cup this weekend, including 2 Luso Canucks. Great relationship there, not just between the Brits and the Portuguese, but the Canadians and the Portuguese as well. Do you recognise that picture there, Gilda? Of
Yes,
the
it's
CEO?
Nabeiro, the coffee man of
Yes.
Delta.
Quite an extraordinary fellow we discovered earlier on this morning. Our fur babies indeed train us. They do, don't they? If you let them. Loonies are the Canadian dollar coin. A toonie is a $2 coin. Learning so much this morning. Good morning, Gubbers. Lovingly fondle that like button. Buying Samana, says Cindy B. As we draw to a close this morning, Bondi, I missed the Oscars and Will Smith slapping Chris Rock, and I almost missed the show today. You did. I mean, it's shocking stuff. Seeing Chris and Will going at it. But not the sort of American behavior we want here in Portugal, Mr. Smith. Love the Gilda long pause, only bettered when it's broken by a no. Yes, I love it too. I do. I really do. And I don't know if it was made better.
Why?
It's just, I think you have a command of the medium. Because people move towards their screens. So you'll ask you a question and it'll be... and then you just go, nope. I think this is gonna. We'll go now. Just as we leave the animal cruelty comment on the screen, the dog trainers won't like this one, or use a rolled up newspaper and say bad, 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 Minister, and smacky nosy there. I can't see Gilda doing that, Darren.
No.
To Mandela. That's not going to be happening, is it, in the Pereira Casa Pereira there with Mandela? But we look forward to the ongoing dog training news and more from your well-being regime, which may at some point go into the realm of physical fitness, but then again, it may not. Gilda, any final thoughts or words from this morning's session of Migration Monday?
Thank you, everyone. You are very kind. I'm very touched by your words. I will always be.
This is you saying this at the dinner table, isn't it
now? I'm very touched by you. And yeah. And I always like to be here and to start the week with you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a really good way to start on Monday, I have to say. You know, and on the face of it, it's like, who wants to talk about migration first thing on a Monday morning? It's like, I can think of funnier subjects, but we do have fun talking about this subject every Monday, and we look forward to it. Even those people who don't even need to talk about migration because they're happily established here in Portugal, I think really enjoy tuning in and finding out about other aspects of Portuguese life, Portuguese culture, and enjoy listening to your insight, Gilda. Smacky nosy, that's for the politicians, not the pets. There you go. Bad minister. Oh, I see. There you go. That's fine then. And farewell until next week, Gilda. Be well. And a quick one from Angela Kaufman. Hi, Colin, Gilda. I'm Portuguese, married for 42 years, non-Portuguese. What kind of visa does he need to apply for Portugal? Okay, I think we're talking about some reunification action there, aren't we? That's the pause. That's the pause right there, Gilda.
No, because I need to read it again.
No criticism.
If you're Portuguese, married with a non-Portuguese, you need to do the family reunification. And because you're Portuguese, he's going to get a 5 years resident permit. And he can get the nationality also.
Okay, very good. So, Senora Kaufman, good news there. Enjoy. Everyone hit the like button, not the dog or the politician, actually, I should say. We love Gilda. We look forward to her show every week. Look at that and love that pause. You see, you've got your dog's got paws, and you've got a paws. A different kind of paws, but it's all about the paws here on Monday mornings. And thank you, Gilda and Carl. Happy Monday from OLP is in here finally as well this morning. Great to see you here. Farewell until next week, Gilda. Be well. Typically, as we always say at the end of the show here, Gilda, lots of love to all the team in the office when you see them today, and we will look forward to seeing you soon. I will put the link for Casa Portuguesa on the screen as we depart. All the best to you and to the family and Mandela, of course, as well. Ciao, ciao.
Ciao, ciao. Bye-bye.